I'm curious. I've noticed have been leaving your video on. Are you doing that just because, or is there a reason for it?
I'm just kind of experimenting with it, and I thought in my Monday night game that Dave runs, he does that, and it's
a little more social.
It seems to provide especially from the GM's perspective, some kind of, interaction, I guess. It's less like a conference call and more like a face-to-face table. So I've been trying it. I mean, I've been getting more and more comfortable with the online things. So just trying that out to see how it works.
Okay.
I'm painting a car. That's all I got.
I see your painting table.
And I'm painting
I see your car.
Yeah, it's got a big, huge Batman engine in the back.
All right, so we are live, OTNG session 49. We've got Ethan, Nils, Peter, Tom, Mike, and Aaron. Our faithful game master. And does anybody
only slightly sadistic?
Does anybody want to give a recap from last week's session? Maybe for the benefit of Nils. I don't know if you had a chance to audit the recording, Nils.
I did, and I could have told you all about those chaos runes, but no, you guys.
But you took off of the damn trees.
You had to abandon Iridian back in that cave.
We did not abandon anyone. He's a monkey.
Exactly, that's what I said.
With his people. Didn't leave him there though. You took him out, right? And
we took him out of the cave and we left him with Sky, where he's being taught how to be a monkey or an ape. But he's in good hands. He's fine.
Simeon.
Chaos ape.
Chaos ape. That's right.
Yeah. So we opened the session last week with an exploration of the glade, where you had recovered a few items of note. I'll let you recall or recollect what those were. But then you climbed the path that went up this rise to a plateau of sorts. And on that plateau, you faced a beast, a creature of the Nether Realms that was buried beneath the earth, that shot these huge tentacles around and was driven off.
Was trying to eat us
by magical bolts of lightning and a mighty blow from the priestess of Ildavar. You had then found an abandoned campsite, a small campsite, with maybe for a single person, and then found this strange structure of woven branches and twigs. And
wait, when we were going up the ridge, excuse me for interrupting, back there right before we ran into the big tentacled creature, we saw on a stick a piece of torn cloth, and once we were able to see it closer, it appeared to be the same kind of fabric we saw the Scions wearing, the same black garb.
No, more like the body that you discovered in the glade.
Or the body in the glade had that.
Mm-hmm. The same type of clothing, the same type of fabric, and the same type of material.
Yeah, listening to that after the fact was pretty hilarious about how funny, how you guys were so worried about that. Of course, I was envisioning this piece of cloth to be kind of like the lantern on the lanternfish.
Right.
So the anglerfish.
Yeah, it was our theory too. We were it's got to be bad. Whatever it is, it's got to be bad.
It's a clue. It's bad. Let's see. And then you had found this weird circular structure of all these woven branches and trees, almost in a sense. And there was some discussion and consideration of it, but then you plowed right through, because when you approached this structure, a gate opened, a portal opened within these woven branches, and the party marched through.
And so what could possibly go wrong?
Exactly, it's perfectly safe. I think it was responding to that tattoo that Ethan ended up with.
Oh, the mark, the brand.
Yeah, because when we walked in, those guys seemed pretty shocked, like, who the fuck are you and how'd you get in here?
Yes, there was certainly that reaction, and
remember it was Gibb that approached it though.
Right, it was Gibb that first approached the
that's right.
The woven.
Does he have a brand he wants to tell us about?
Palisade.
It sounded like
Palisade.
a palisade.
Yeah. Yeah. Was that a reasonable recap for you guys? Are there any questions about?
Well, when we walked into the palisade, you're going to re-describe all that again for him.
We will.
Good.
Yeah. I'll
that was very dramatic.
I'll reset that scene for you.
Sandela fired off a whole bunch of crossbow bolts.
She had some solid hits.
She did.
Yep.
She rolled a 20.
All right.
Yep.
So Nils, what I'd like to do is rewind just a bit and touch on what happened with Arkor and Slaanegash when you wandered off with the walking tree.
Yes.
So that fight ended with Slaanegash playing the horn, playing the instrument, playing the oboe, that bizarre. We need a name for this thing, so I'll leave it to you to name that.
The oboe of cosmic control.
Clever. And when playing the oboe, the walking tree fell under her complete control. Mm-hmm. And as the battle was winding down and your companions were binding their wounds and tending to one another, Slaanegash wandered off into the glade, off into this area, and you hurried after her, concerned for her safety, but also curious about this tree, being a tree singer.
Right.
And the tree took you deep into this glade, and in fact, deep into the forest. And here in the forest, you learned a few things. What I'd like you to do is we're going to try a move from Dungeon World. It's a powered by the Apocalypse game that I've been looking at and thinking about running.
Multiplayer narrative, right?
Right.
Cool.
And what I'd like you to do, Nils, is roll 2d6 and add 2 for your intelligence bonus. We're going to try a move called Discern Realities, where you closely study a situation or person, and on a good result, you'll get to ask some questions. And I have a list of questions which I'll type into the chat for you as well after I read them. And then from that, we'll build the narrative around what happened when Arkor was away with Slaanegash.
I hope they get a tree man companion to join us. We could use
that's great. That's on a 10+. You can ask 3 questions. I'm typing them now, but I'll read them for you. Happened here recently. About to happen. Should I be on the lookout for? What here is useful or valuable to me? Who's really in control here? And what here is not what it appears to be?
Those are good questions. But you only get to pick 3, right?
Mm-hmm. And on a 7 to 9, he would have been able to ask 1. And on a miss, you would have taken an experience point. So the way Dungeon World works is that when you're doing these things called moves, if you get a success, you get to do what the move says. But if you miss, you get an experience point. So there's some kind of incentive in failure almost.
Isn't it? There's success with conditions, and there's experience learning from what happened.
Learning from mistakes.
Right. It's not so much a failure as you learned something different. You learned a lesson.
And sometimes in this powered by the apocalypse and those kind of moves, what happens is there's a consequence for the miss, right?
Mm-hmm.
So kind of interesting. I think it'll be. I've been playing in a play by forum game using the Apocalypse World, which is their which is the core engine, the core rules for that. But a lot of different things have spun off from it.
Well, it reminds me a lot of just basic improv, which is you never say no.
Right.
You always leave the line open for the next person to build on. You never end a idea.
Right. Which is also something that I'm super interested in too, just in terms of like storytelling or role playing.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So let me finish typing those questions so they're easier for you to reference, Nils.
Sure.
Did one of them stick out in your mind?
Yeah, actually I started listening to that Discerning Realities podcast today that you mentioned. And I went back to the beginning of their Apocalypse World run, so I kind of got at least the beginnings of the ideas. So it was that last one. What is different than I expect, or whatever that?
What here is not what it appears to be.
Yes, that's it.
That's a good one.
Okay. All right, sure. Let me just noodle on that for a moment while I finish typing these questions.
Well, while you noodle and type, I just want to point out you forgot my favorite question, which is how do we succeed in this goal and survive?
How do we win the game?
It's right.
There's no name. Playing is the thing.
It's role playing, the ultimate Taoist exercise. Yeah, I was really struggling because I keep looking at all these different paint jobs on this car because it's a pretty cool little car. And Beast of War did a boot camp, so they had like 10 of them all lined up on the table, all different colors and very pretty. I was like, God, what color? What color? And then I woke up this morning and went, it's got to be black. What am I thinking?
Okay. So the first question you asked was, what here is not what it appears to be. It's Lana Gosh. She's not what she appears to be. In fact, you recognize that she has taken a critical eye to you and everything that you do in your elvenhood. And she's become quite catty, maybe even more so than before. And there, you can tell that there's a lot of enmity brewing between the two of you. And you're not really so keen on her either.
Sounds like I might have some kith jerky pretty soon. So my second question is, what happened here recently?
So what happened here recently was there was a summoning, and you pass through the remnants of the glade where Sandela found the dagger embedded in the tree, and then
dagger?
And then you went deeper and deeper into the woods and then into the forest proper. And you see signs of these markings, these carvings, and huge holes in the earth, as if trees had just been uprooted, but there's no remnants of those uprooted trees. It's as if a giant hand had just reached down and plucked them from the earth like a weed. And the walking tree brings you into a very large clearing where 6 of these holes are present in a great ring, and there's a deep sorrow and sadness radiating from your your tree companion. I was looking for another word for tree.
Arboreal.
Arboreal. And this summoning has happened over a significant period of time. It's not as if it had all happened at once, but it has happened gradually. And that's what's happened here recently.
Okay.
Do we know what was summoned? Or do we just know it was bad?
Don't get all judgy there. I don't think I want to know who's really in control here.
We know who is. Aaron.
What should I be on the lookout for?
Ooh.
Don't go into the palisade.
What should you be on the lookout for? There's a battle brewing. And it's not between you and whatever forces occupy this place, but there's a battle brewing between two large, powerful factions. And you should be on the lookout from being caught in the middle.
Okay.
God, we're kind of used to that, aren't we?
All right. Now I will cut us back to
Exactly.
the palisade of the twisted branches.
Thwang, thwang.
I can happily wait till Nils shows up with that tree man.
Oh, Nils is with you.
Oh, good. Did he bring
What
the tree man?
happens? Tell me or show us how you return to your companions, Nils. Sorry, not Nils. Arcor. And
well, once we reached that very sad spot where obviously there had been trees that had been uprooted, the tree that we had, these were larches, I think you said?
mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the tree that we had kind of under our control, or she had under her control, as you said, it gets very sad. It kind of slowly moves into the center, because you said it was a circle, I think that was
exactly
into the center of the tree, of the circle, and kind of shuffles back and forth and kind of roots down into the ground, and then it actually starts changing, and it changes into a weeping willow.
Oh, nicely done, Nils.
But before that, it gives you a +12 sword.
Yes.
+12 Hackmaster.
That it found a long time ago.
Man, Nils, that's like straight out of a Greek myth. Nicely done.
And then, so we, while Slana Shah was, kind of enthralled or enthralling the tree, Arcor, since he was much more of a woodsman than she was kind of keeping track of where they were going, and so they were able to retrace their steps and came up and basically just caught up to the rep party as they were just going into the tunnel, and it made up some time. Luckily, missed all the tentacles that they had to deal with, and then joined them as they were going into the tunnel and getting trapped by death.
I love it. Take a point of luck.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Nice. Well done. That's a really cool reward.
Yeah, it can be. I mean,
it's like a fate point in Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay back in the old days. It's like you're not getting more, and if you do, that's a big deal.
Right.
So well done, Nils. I'm impressed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Shall I reset the scene for you all when you enter the portal at the branches of the palisade?
I just realized
Palisade
for you Harry Potter fans out there, I should have said it turns into a Whomping Willow.
That's an angry willow. You made a sad willow. That made more sense.
Right. Okay. Yes, please reset the palisade.
Okay. Right. So when the portal opens, it opens to the proximity of Gib leading the party to the wall of the palisade, and as you step closer, it starts to broaden and expand and enlarge to allow you to pass through these twisted branches. And the walls of this palisade are quite thick. They're 2, they're 3, they're 8 feet thick, and there's a mist in front of you shrouding your vision from being able to see what is at the end of the portal. And as you begin to pass, as the last members of the party pass the threshold of the portal, begins to close behind you.
Which is never a bad sign.
Correct. And and as Gib and was it Gerda and Gib in
Cindella.
Gerda and Cindella in the van, and as they pass, as they begin to come to the edge of the mists, they start to brighten and fade away, and it opens. The portal opens into a broad courtyard, a broad circular courtyard, 60 feet in diameter, 60 feet across. Let's say that. I always get goofed up about diameter and radius. I always just say radius around, okay, diameter across. That's how my brain works, Ethan.
That's
in
fine.
Slow, complicated, tangled ways. In any case, this large clearing, this large 60-foot diameter clearing, there are two very large trees nearly opposite of your position at the south end of the palisade. And these large trees are 12 feet tall, but broken and barren and twisted and gnarled. And suspended in those trees are two bodies. But standing at the base of the trees are two figures, a man clad in robes, dark in color, with gold piping on the shoulders, which run down the sleeves and the cowls, and the front and the back of his robes. Standing beside him in deep conversation is a warrior with a helm and shield and mail, a sword at his hip. And you can see figures moving in the mist behind these trees. And they turn to you and address you. What are you doing here? And Gerda stepped forward with an answer that the warrior took great offense to and drew a black blade.
I said we're here to save the trees.
And
God,
that's where the last issue, that was the final page of the last issue, and now we're opening the page. And this is the cover drawing of the next issue at the comic shop.
Right. This is this is splash page.
Right. I will take you, and I've took some time today to rework the encounter and catch up with my notes and those kinds of things.
Because apparently we weren't supposed to have gone in there yet, which is not a good sign for us.
The party's here at the south of the palisade. The warrior and his companion are here, the trees. And these are the figures that you can see in the shadows sort of creeping around. Here on either side of the palisade are two stumps. Like a tree had been cleaved from him, and you can see like some grim ritual or rite has been performed upon them. And one of these has a dagger stuck into its trunk.
Same kind of dagger that
Cindella's got.
Cindella's doesn't have.
Exactly.
No, in fact, it's a different type of dagger. I've marked it there for you on the map. Are there? And we're entering combat, so this is going to be an check. Are there any questions or
so I
insights
assume
that you want to make about this before we get started?
We're resetting the encounter then?
No, sorry. You all won initiative last time, right?
Right.
Cindella had fired off a couple of crossbow bolts to great effect against the spellcaster.
Yep.
The spellcaster took some damage.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool.
6 hit points of damage. Thanks for reminding me, Ethan. I Cindella had completely forgotten.
Cool.
We hadn't.
Yeah. Cindella remembered going thwang thwang.
I just have a question about what spell I have to cast.
Right, and you all had won the initiative.
Right.
Yep.
So, Gib, you had your Eckham's Mask up.
Correct.
Yeah. You successfully cast that.
How many rounds for your Eckham's Mask, Gib?
5.
Looks like we probably need tokens for... you want to roll a d6 for me, Gib, and I'll throw one of your tokens on your dice onto the board to keep track of that for us.
By the way, Aaron, I wasn't dissing you for being on there because I went on and because you did not respond to my chat, even though I saw your dice rolling. I was on there for the next half hour updating my spell book.
Oh, cool. Did you get it to work the way you wanted it to?
I think so.
Always roll a 24.
Oh, I hadn't thought of that.
Let's see. Why am I not seeing the PCs in the journals? Oh, because I have a search going. Let's see. Nils, Arcor. Where do you have a token?
I have in the past, but I don't think I have any on there now.
Oh, you do. Here you are, quite tiny. Tiny Arcor.
What did it say?
He's a gnome.
It should be a +8. No, it's adding too much still.
Shh.
Okay, well. That's great. It's fine.
All right. And we do not have Congress with us.
No Congress.
Correct.
He stepped back. He got a little freaked out by the woods.
It was
It's too natural
Cindella
for him.
2 crossbow bolts that just scared him.
He didn't want to go into the portal. In fact, he's probably quaking in his boots.
As dwarves do.
Nils, you can just add yourself to the battle line over there.
Okay.
All right, now it's working right. I'm going to keep that, by the way.
Yeah?
Fuck, that's a 27.
Well, and you also did a natural 20, it looks like, so you add +5 to your spell roll.
Nice. That makes it a 32.
Yep.
I'll take it.
What are we doing?
Well, I'm going to cast Word of Command, but I'm also fixing the spell thing.
Okay.
So it doesn't double. So that last roll didn't double it.
Okay. Oh, and we're keeping that roll because that was
A freaking 20.
okay. Okay. All right. Who are you commanding?
I'm commanding surrender because it's a the words come from all over, and I figure if the other guys are too strong for and make their save, the bronze skinny creatures probably might not.
Okay. How many do you affect at your result of?
And by the way, I figured out in the spell, if you go into your spell book, next to spell check, there's the bonus minus. Keep that at 0 because it also is in the stats. You know what I'm saying? So if you have it in the spell and you have it set for the stats, that's why it was giving me the double.
Oh, right. Because it was pulling it from your personality and your level bonus.
And then adding what I had entered there. Yeah.
Right.
So Word of Command, and by the way, that's actually one more because I didn't add in the +1 for the day, or is it a +2? It's a +1 for today, isn't it?
Today is a +1. So that's where you would add your bonuses.
Right. For the day. Oh, good point. You do that then. Yeah. Oh, I'm in the wrong goddamn spells. What an idiot. I'm like, polymorph? I can't do that. Okay, Word of Command. So, holy shit, that's a really good roll. 33. It only goes to 32 plus. The cleric can speak a word at all targets he can see. He can choose, she can choose to exclude up to 10 targets per caster level, but otherwise all targets within line of sight are affected. The same command applies to all targets. Targets of a 3-hit dice or less are automatically affected. Higher level targets, which I have a feeling we're facing, each receive their own save. The cleric may combine the word of command with a gesture that clarifies its intent. For example, attack or go with a pointed finger. And I'm saying surrender and point to the ground. Yeah, like drop your weapon. Yeah, you know.
Right.
The cleric's voice is magically amplified so that all targets can hear her. If a target fails its save, it must obey the command for a number of days equal to 1d7 plus the cleric level. The target receives a new willpower each save morning. Or each morning it gets a new save.
Okay.
Holy bejesus.
That was fucking cool.
So let's see, who can get her to see? She can obviously see the two here. And you can see this one, and you can not see this one. So is one not affected, or?
Well, I assume if it says if you can't see it, I assume they're just not affected.
All right.
They hear it, but it doesn't. It doesn't.
Thundering resonance.
The same command applies to all targets. Wait a minute.
Yes.
You can choose to exclude up to 10 targets per caster level, but otherwise all targets within line of sight. Yeah. So if I can't see it,
make a luck check to see if you can see this one. Maybe it's standing to the left of the.
Nope, I can't see it.
Okay, that one is not affected. So these surrender. And it probably will follow suit. But I get a save against the 32.
Well, they have all kinds of bonuses we don't know about.
Yeah, but I can't make it. I can't make that save against the 32. If I roll a 20,
exactly,
that will be fine.
Let's not.
Yep. Let's start at the top, and then we'll work clockwise down.
Oh, Gerda, you fucking kick ass.
That one hands
his warrior drops his sword and collapses to his knees, and the rest of them sort of cluster around behind them.
The warrior
we surrender.
Take it.
Leave our sacred place, and the portal opens again behind you.
Oh, this isn't going to be a TPK.
I want the sword.
No, one thing you forgot to mention. I'm moving everybody forward. Sorry, I'm just playing with the miniatures. When we got there, one of the guys in the tree was clearly one of the Brotherhood of the Scion, one of the Scion, whatever it is, and he was briefly alive, and he saw us, and he says, "Brothers," and then he died in the tree.
Exactly.
I forgot that was the other reason we were pretty convinced these guys were bad guys.
Yeah, hold on just a second.
Or not as good guys.
Less than good guys. Watch these guys be ones trying to fix everything. Let's not kill them yet.
I just want the sword.
Oh, Horace, you're sounding like Rydian now.
We wouldn't be in this situation if I'd gotten that soul sword so long ago.
No, we'd be in a far worse situation.
Just different, not worse.
Different. It really would be far more like an episode of Heavy Metal.
All right, what will you do?
So can we attempt to try to, save the one that was just alive, like we would us?
Oh, sure. You want to try to fish those bodies out from the trees?
Yeah, or Gerda. Can Gerda do that first?
Okay, sure.
I would like to.
Or that's the one that cried out.
Sure, you guys can do that. Basically, what's happened here is that these guys are your complete prisoners for the next 24 hours. They're as if they had fought a terrible campaign against you over a series of months, if not years, and have been sorely defeated. So that's so consider that their affect towards you in all things that you do here in interactions with them.
So then that sword is rightfully mine.
Would you stop? Not until we know who these guys are, Horace.
So Cindella's strides forward and snatches the black blade from the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. She'll hold on to it for Horace.
Sure.
Is Horace not present?
He's got to be here. We need him.
Horace is here. Yeah, we have Horace, Gib, Gerda, Hammy, Arcor, and Cindella.
Okay.
And the hanger-on.
Who none of us are too sure about.
The snotty teenager.
That's right. Who keeps forgetting that we saved her from an eternity of imprisonment.
Well, Rydian saved her.
Right.
Okay, so as you know, I figure I don't have to do all the questioning, right? They didn't surrender to me; they surrendered to us. So I would like to know what's going on here. I want to know what brought this blight to this forest, because we are here to heal the forest. And if these guys are doing it, we're taking them out. But I have a feeling that they're actually trying to fix it.
Okay.
Who is the guys that are dead in the tree? Or
No, the guy with the flaming sword and the wizard. I have a feeling that they're actually not bad guys.
Oh. Okie dokie.
Let's see. So the man in the robes does most of the speaking. I am Janex, and this is, my brother Melicon. He trembles before your mightiness. We are the watchers of the circle, guardians and protectors of this place.
Okay.
Your presence is unwanted here. Leave us to our torment of agony and defeat at the hands of mighty Ildevar. Oh, Ildevar.
Making friends wherever I go.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't you try to resurrect or heal the
So when you approach those trees,
mm-hmm.
they are 12 feet tall, spindly, gnarled and spindly. Huge thorns project from them all over. And you can see that the bodies are impaled on these thorns and have been like cast up into the branches.
Mm.
So does it look like the trees like grabbed them, or they were just thrown up there by these, or thrown up there?
Yeah, like they were thrown up there.
Okay. So he just died. So could Eldevar get a heal in?
Or restore vitality?
Well, you'd have to touch him, and you'd have to get him, either get up there or get him down there, get him off the tree.
Okay. First, I want to know why they're in the tree. Why did you kill these men?
They are prisoners, and they had information that we must have. We drew it from them. Oh, it was glorious. They suffered, and they will continue to suffer. And you see the other one on the far side, his eyes go wide.
But the other human?
Yeah, up here on the north.
Oh, so he's alive.
Well, I want to get him down and try and cast heal on him, and I'm going to touch him if I have to.
Okay.
And I think we have to waste these guys. They like torture too much.
How are you going to get him down?
How high up is he?
About 8 feet high.
Do we have a spellcaster that can cast enlarge?
I can cast. I can, yeah, and I can cast wood weirding to bend the branch if that doesn't work. Maybe he'll slide down towards us, but I'd rather pluck him off gently if we can.
So he needs to cast the spell and cast it on whoever's the tallest.
And yes, Arcor has enlarge, or you could do your word weird thing.
Well, do you want to cast enlarge? It's a classic.
It's always a crowd pleaser.
Or do you have some weird manifestation on that one that messes you up?
I grow a second phase for a D3 rounds, but during that time I get a second die 20 action.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that's just good. That's just good times. Yeah, let's try that first.
All right. All right. Let me check something here first. So, who's the tallest of us to begin with?
Cindella probably.
Well, you do Cindella or Horus.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, Gib can always be intuffinated. He likes being enlarged.
Yeah. Let's see.
Biganated.
Let me take a look.
I'm just wondering because I've got.
Yeah. Doesn't matter. Cast it on whoever you feel like.
Yeah. Cindella is 6'2". And
okay, yeah, speed is of the essence. So I will cast it as I currently am, which means I have a -3 spell check penalty against my armor. So we'll just see how it goes.
Well, why don't you take off
+1.
Well, okay,
Sorry?
but we're in a +1 right now,
right?
Or so
+1. There we go.
Woo!
Gosh, you guys are
That's
starting
totally
off
27.
pretty hot.
God,
Let me get my book.
I'm gonna miss these rolls later. I know it.
They're always so tantalizing and teasing.
Whoops. I seem to be missing the spell section of my book. If somebody can look the spell up.
Missing the spell section. Did it fall out?
Actually, hold on. I think I might have it. No, I had Mike split it into 3 separate bindings, so it's not so painfully big.
Yeah, it is quite large.
No, I don't. This is not the spell section. So if somebody can look it up for me.
Trying to.
Okay, thank you. Probably just upstairs somewhere.
I'm sure Grace has it. Okay, white walls. Definitely need white walls.
On my enlarged spell?
Nope.
So number 20, you got a 23?
27.
27.
Nice.
27. The target triples in size. A normal man becomes giant size with the result receiving a +6 bonus to attacks, damage, and AC due to greater strength, blah, blah, blah. He or she receives a +20 bonus points of hit points.
Okay.
So
and you burn those first.
I was casting it on Cindella since she was the tallest.
So she's now 18 feet tall?
18 and a half feet tall.
18 feet tall.
Should have cast it on Hammy so he could feel better.
She did that once before, and he was like normal human height. It was very entertaining.
Yeah, that was good. I did enjoy that. Always good for the hamsters.
So, when Cindella gets big, she will attempt to carefully remove the man's body from the tree.
So, and you are now enlarged for 5 turns.
Oh,
50 minutes. Thanks, I needed that. 5 turns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
that giant or that flaming sword just got really big.
So while we're doing all of this, I want to verify, are these the guys that have been causing the trees to wilt and wither and to uproot?
Well, don't you got to cast heal on this guy first?
Well, yeah, we can talk while she's big and take him out.
Then we can have some.
Make a luck check, Cindella.
Okay.
No, she's a good one to do it.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
totally
yes,
good.
awesome.
Okay. So you as carefully as you can, like, try to remove him from the his impaled torment, and you draw off his body. Make another luck check.
No.
Oh, and he expires in your arms. But when you go to lift him, he looks into your eyes, and he's as terrified. He's terrified, and drawing him up off the tree, he just blood comes pouring out of his back and pooling out at the dripping down the
Too much damage.
and the branches of this tree.
I hold him in one arm, with the other arm take my index and middle finger and close both of his eyes and gently lower him down to the priestess to give a blessing over him as he passes.
So your
from this world.
your fingers are like, you're like just kind of bashing him in the face, because of your giant stature.
Mm-hmm.
You
tried.
Why don't you get the other guy out? Try that.
Okay. Once she lowers him to the ground and puts him at Gerda's feet, Cinderella will move over to retrieve the other fallen.
Are you chaotic?
Yes.
You might not be anymore, but why don't you do the same process for me? Make a luck check to approach the body, and then a luck check to remove the body.
Yep, we're good there.
Oh,
we're good there.
So this one you do draw off, but it had died when this individual had expired when you entered the
Glade.
The glade, the clearing, the palace, the courtyard of the palisade. They're both these men are quite dead. They are wearing black clothing, these kind of elaborate folded tunics, that heavy black material.
Like the Scion?
And black trousers. The Scions wore dark robes. They didn't wear this type of garment. What will you do?
Well, we're going to turn around and look at these our prisoners.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you've succeeded in expiring them now. So who is to me? You're responsible for their deaths. Who's responsible for the deaths of all these trees? Who's responsible for these trees being ripped out of the ground? In the name of Ildevar, we need to know.
Oh, yes.
Now you've done it.
It is the black hats that do this. They raise the trees to march against us, trying to re-enter their portal, but we bar the way. Their forces will not pass and send relief to our enemies.
There's got to be some faction war going on.
Yeah.
Well, but that's what the Scions basically said. It was another faction of Druids or
something. But like Nils was told, be careful of being drawn into either side.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're already on one side, though.
We're on the side of the
middle. Yeah.
But there might be more than two sides.
Well, we're here to save the forest. That's the only side we care about.
Fair enough.
That I care at. These guys can kill each other for all I care.
Cinderella's willing to slit their throats if you want.
I'm thinking we might have to.
That's the chaotic rogue, I know.
She's chaotic because she's an assassin, not because she doesn't do things that are kind every now and again.
Okay.
Chaotic doesn't mean you're cruel.
Exactly. I'm efficient.
Well, yeah, chaotic means you don't believe that there's a natural order to things. You believe that life best exists in flux and change.
Did we ask them who their enemy is?
That's a good question.
Well, our enemy are the black hats.
And where are the black hats from?
They hold. It's the Blackouts who built their temple to worship their gods, but we know the true power, not their insignificant demons and devils. No, Anthrexis is the true power, and we shall bring his arising about. My brothers will see to that.
Okay, can I make a knowledge? Do I know who Anthraxis is? Is this a bad cult? Is this a bad group of people? Because they clearly don't think much of my goddess, who just made them surrender their asses.
Make an intelligence check for me. Just let's see how what
Gib
kind of
would
result
like to
you
do
get.
that as well if he's unsuccessful.
Yeah, only one roll for an
No.
ID.
I'm trying to roll under it, right?
No, high.
Oh, then I made it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a good result. And Anthrexis isn't a name that you've heard of recently. In fact, it's an ancient and dark name. Who almost like at the birth of the world, when the gods were shaping and forming these things, Anthrexis was there, and it was Anthrexis who brought the night, and it was Anthrexis who created the waves that beat against the shore. It was Anthrexis that created the creatures that devoured the worms and the creatures that devoured the bodies when they fell, when life fell to the earth. That's about all. That's about all. But then the other gods were so displeased with his perspectives that they drove him away from their creation.
Okay.
Cindella will ask these guys if they know what the rune on her palm means.
You're marked, blessed. Oh, they all shall know your name.
I was afraid of this.
Yeah, I would too. I have to waste these fuckers.
Vistas, huh?
Vistas. Is this like the Bible?
What? So yeah, is this like the Bible? No, well, kind of. So those the bronze trolls, right?
Yes, the bronze trolls.
So Gib asks them, who do they serve?
Saruman! Sorry, I couldn't resist.
Saruman. They serve me, of course, says Jerix. Gynex.
Gynex.
They are my servants.
His name is now Vaginix.
Vaginix.
Gib says I want them to answer.
They don't speak. In fact, when you turn and look at them, their mouths are almost fused shut. They're like a big bronze sculpture almost, but they move with some sort of like thumping irregularity.
Would Gib recognize them as a golem?
They're
Or are they not just animated, they're living?
They're not breathing.
Okay, who thinks we need to waste these guys?
Cindella does. These guys can identify her now.
Well, yeah, and Hammy's like, I don't like these guys. I think we need to cut them in half. They tortured those guys to death.
Oh, before we get rid of these guys, we should pull the dagger from the stump and see if they know what the dagger is.
Well, they put it in the stump, didn't they?
Maybe.
Let's ask them.
We did. These stumps are the altars on which I and my brother spilt our blood, binding us to this place.
Mm-hmm.
Cindella will go over to inspect the dagger. Does she see any flaming runes or demonic runes around this thing?
No, there are no runes or markings or carvings like you saw on the other tree on the larches that were like the larch that you found in the glade where the corpse.
Okay, what kind of dagger is this?
It's just it's a fighting man's dagger.
Okay. She'll pick it up and begin walking over to the guys with the intention of slitting their throats with their own dagger.
Hold on.
Gibbs like, whoa, let's go fast here.
We'll get there. We'll get there. I promise.
Okay, so the dudes up in the trees are not dressed the same as the scions.
No, they're not. The scions wore like kind of, big hooded robes and long billowing sleeves, and you can't see their feet and look like they're floating around, that kind of stuff. This guy is more like he's wearing a robe, but it's adorned and refined and luxurious.
The one that's dead in the tree.
No, the one that you've been talking to.
Yeah. Okay. So then Gibbs says, and in their suffering, what did they tell you?
Well, we wish to find the entrance to the portal, and they said the only way was with the black horn, but none of them had it, and they wouldn't reveal its location.
The black horn. This is good to know.
Which is probably what let them vanish through the trees. Just guessing.
Good point.
You guys recovered a black horn in the glade. Do you remember that?
Yeah, we did. Where the guy had stabbed into the tree and carved the runes, right?
Right.
Oh, I didn't remember that.
I do not remember that. I must have not heard that.
So
do you remember that, Cindella?
What horn are you talking about? I don't know.
We've never seen a horn, nor did we get a knife out of a tree.
Nope.
Arkar will step forward and say to the party that if we dispatch them in cold blood, we're no better than they are, and their sacrifice might achieve their goals just by itself.
Oh, you mean killing them might be good for them?
Yes.
Fair words.
Cindella still wants to off them.
Well, if we'd have dispatched them in combat, it wouldn't have been any different. We just happened to get the upper hand.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Gerda. Making so much harder on us.
What? Sorry, I thought I was helping.
I'm helping. So Arikor will kind of just like nonchalantly position himself between Cindella and the people.
Okay, so it sounds like you're not in favor of.
I am not in favor
of a murder.
Of executing him.
Of outright murder, yes.
Well, okay. Why don't we ask them if they're able to leave this grove or not?
We cannot. We are bound to this place.
Well, if they're bound, if we take all their stuff,
a year, we will not want nor thirst for food or drink.
I'm sorry, for how long did he say?
A year.
Oh, well, easier than tying them up.
In that case, why don't we just strip them of all their stuff, throw it outside the grove, and we're good for a year?
Right, but can this grove move? Why are you looking for a portal if you can't leave here?
We protect our gate to the temple, and he points at the circle in the center of the grove, in the center of the clearing.
So if someone had a black horn, they could come here and open a gate. Is that what you're telling me?
No, the horn is for the black portal.
And where is that located?
He gestures. Continue south, you shall find it. So I warn you, do not touch it.
Because
So,
Because
okay,
it will blast you into 1,000 shimmering pieces.
do we actually have a black horn? Does the
Yes.
group have a
yeah, we
Yes.
do.
That is a
Okay.
black horn.
We had a horn. We
So-
had a cloak. We had a dagger.
Okay.
Nope, we don't have a dagger. Don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Anyways, so
We also determined that you get to keep it. All right.
Gib would like to take the horn and go blow it in front of the tree that they found where the guy the footsteps disappeared.
I think these guys grabbed this guy out of the air when he was camping out there, not knowing that they were right there.
Uh-huh.
That's my guess. I'm going to ask him. I said, "Did you use magic to grab someone out of a campsite not far from here? Was that your doing?"
No, our brothers watched over the road and the and the Tangle Demon.
Yeah, we dealt with the Tangle Demon.
What? No, not the Thresher. No.
Cinderella pulls out its demon heart and says, "Yeah, see this? Uh-huh.
Yeah, we
So,
hacked that
remember
fucker good.
That thing is huge and heavy, Ethan. It takes 2 hands to pick up, and it's
Mhm.
quite heavy. It counts as at least 2 encumbrance points. I'm just giving you some context for that.
Cool. Yeah. Well, my 18
Well,
foot
but right
self
now
is
it's
not,
just barely bigger than 2 fingers.
Well, no, it's just as big as he is.
because it grew with me.
Oh, that's right. It grew. Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that thing's like a big.
Things like bigger than your
stone.
head.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Horace can make the best use of it, though.
Either way, so that's what Gib would like to do is go use that horn in front of that tree. And then he says that before we do anything with our captives, I feel we need to get some more information.
That's
Okay,
fine.
leaving the. Are you going to leave the glade? Leave
Yeah.
the palisade.
If anybody, if
I have no trouble leaving them
Hor-
behind if they can't leave.
Horace,
Right.
well, no, we're gonna have to. We have to. Gerda probably has to stay there to keep the spell of surrender going, right?
No, nope. It's good for D7 plus cleric level days, and every morning they get a chance to try and break it. So
Mhm.
let's just see what that is.
Well, they have to break
D7.
it against the 32. They won't break it.
Right. So that's
So
funny.
you
It
could-
shows
you
a
could-
5, but I got a 4.
so-
So 4 days plus my level 5 is 9. So for
You have the
9
same
days, they're
you have the
completely
same problem Mike does, because when it's a funky die, it's just a.
Yeah, it's just a die. Yeah. Because that's what I look at. So for 9 days, they're going to be completely subservient and surrendered to us.
Oh, okay. Well, whoever
And-
wants to accompany Gib on the way out, but I think that still somebody should stay back.
With your word of command, does that compel them to be truthful?
No.
What compels them to surrender, and remember, I had described to you their affect as defeated enemies.
Right.
So they have no reason to lie to us because it's all over. It's almost a
Maybe.
relief.
I wouldn't count on that super solely, but that's just Gib.
Well, I mean,
talking.
they've told us
Either
that
way.
they can't leave, but that may not really be the case.
I see what you're
Exactly.
saying. Always
Either
trust
way,
but verify.
Yeah, Gib's gonna go do it. He just wants 1 person or 2 person to accompany him.
Oh,
That's
Hammy will go with you.
Okay. So Gib and Hammy are gonna leave the glade.
Okay. And you scamper back to the
The tree where the
where you
footsteps
found the footsteps.
ran right into it.
Hmm. And you're going to try blowing the horn there.
Yes.
Okay.
If anybody else wanted to come along, I just didn't want the whole party for some reason for them to be able to like run away or because they lied.
Right.
Just like our course said.
Do something bad. Sure. So you blow the horn. It just echoes across the whole hillside that you're standing on,
Okay.
but it has no effect on the.
No effect on that tree.
We're a very musical group that fights gorillas, I've noticed.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So Gibbs going to look around to see if he sees if the horn affected anywhere else.
No, I mean your current party position is where it is marked on the map. In addition to a small group of you being up here.
Right. Is there any more footsteps than there was before?
No. Oh, thanks.
Ask Emily where my dinner is.
Where's Peter wants to know where his dinner is. She can't hear me. She's listening to her audiobook.
So Gibbs gonna wander down here to see what he sees.
Do you see what I see?
All right. I think it's done.
Did you hear Aaron?
I think we lost Aaron.
Sorry, I was talking on mute.
Oh, yep.
So Gib and Hammy come around the south side of the palisade and follow the path down, and you to an area of heaped up dirt, like a child had just taken their hand and like scooped the trough in the sand. But it's huge. It's like 20, 30 feet across, maybe even 40 feet across, and the earth's like piled up, and this trough descends down into into kind of a pit, almost like a mining pit. And on
Right.
on the southeast wall, you can see this shimmering black oval, like somebody had taken a pool of water and just stood it up on its side, and it's kind of this black wavering watery surface. And here's a handout for you.
I'm never good if you end up with a handout.
No, I just want to share all the cool art.
Better a hand up than a handout.
That's it.
Better than a handout than a hand up. I don't remember how that works. Hand up than a handout.
Boy, Hammy's pretty tall in that picture.
Only when he's the party icon.
Okay, so Gibbs gonna say, let's just go back and tell him about what we just discovered.
Yeah, I think that's the portal.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think we need to shut it. We got these guys. These guys here who just surrendered, who are obviously having something to do with the killing of the trees, and you know how Gerda hates that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think these guys coming through can't be much better.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't know. They're just dead guys hanging from the tree. We don't know.
Okay, what will you do?
So Gib and Hammy are going back to the group.
And I'm going to go to roll RPG so I can buy this module to figure it out.
And convey that information to the group.
Okay, cool.
So he's going to say the horn didn't open up the tree, supposedly, but then again, we just found this floating, pool of blackness that's hovering.
So Doctor Who calls it a wibbly wobbly thing?
Yeah.
As this is being described, Cindella's watching the captives to see if they react at all to the description of this portal. Like if they recognize this or...
Yeah, they react. They know about the portal. They even told you about the portal, right?
Yeah.
Right.
South of the palisade.
Clarifying that this is in fact the portal that we want to get to Bad Place.
So who are the black hats? Where did they come
portal,
from?
They tell you that the portal leads to the temple, into an area that they've not been able to
Infiltrate.
Well, they're set up here to guard this area from anybody from coming or going.
So wait, you're the one. Okay, you're just here to guard them from coming or going. You're not here to protect the forest. You are the ones who've destroyed all these trees, or they destroyed all the trees, and you merely destroyed the ones.
Yeah. Plus that thing that we destroyed, it was destroying everything here as well.
So, well, I mean, I wouldn't say destroy. I mean,
the trees are dead.
We're reshaping this land into a true habitation for Anthrexis as he wishes it.
Yes, right. Which is basically death and decay, god of decay, or something like that.
Yeah, and I'm going to point out that that's not natural, and Ildifer doesn't like things that aren't natural.
So Della looks at Gerda and says, "Knife." Makes a slashing motion with her hand. Is like, yeah, you want me to off these guys?
Hammy's all for it. Gerda's just not liking that idea either. She doesn't like the idea of killing helpless prisoners. Plus, they're surrendered for 9 days. But man, I'm not liking these guys at all.
And they're bound here for a year.
Yeah. So, hey, worst comes to worst, come back and just light the palisade on fire.
All right. You guys want to step away from the narrative and go to the storyboard and figure out what you want to do, or how do you want to tackle this?
Well, they should. So Gibbs going to search them.
They've also told you that the horns used to open the Black Gate. But they couldn't find the horn, and their prisoners wouldn't tell them or didn't know where it was. And
so
you want to search. You want to search them. So the warrior has a mail, shield, helm, and the sword that's now in the possession of.
Cinderella gave it to Horus.
Horus. It radiates. It does radiate some magic.
Does it have the flames when Horus is holding it?
No, the flames were almost like a ghost image
luminescence
or
something.
When he whipped the sword out of its scabbard.
Okay. And can Gib make any heads or tails of that magic that it's emanating?
Sure, make an intelligence check.
And Horus will grab the scabbard for the sword, obviously.
Okay. Yeah. So it'd say when this weapon strikes true, it will it creates an enchantment of fire which will burn the target.
Ooh.
And what else did he find on the wizard and the warrior?
The wizard doesn't really have anything, and that's it. I mean, it's like pretty Spartan, right? They don't want for food or drink here. They don't need anything. They're content in their protection of this sacred circle, the one that's in the middle of this glade.
So Gib asks them, if they're not able to leave, then how did they capture these two prisoners that
our companions brought them to us.
That would be the metal troll guys.
Yeah.
Our companions of the Umbrai, those that walk through trees and come to us through this portal. He points at the center of the room. They've been absent for some days now. If we could seek them out, we would find them, but we cannot. We're trapped here. Well, not trapped. We guard this place.
Do they know that we have the horn? Did we mention that in front of them? Yeah, sure.
You blow it.
The whole forest heard us blow it.
So are we able to pass? So Gib asks them if we're able to pass through the portal with the horn.
Yes, wizard. The horn is the key to the portal.
and we will not be smashed to thousands of pieces?
Yes, my warning was do not touch the portal without the horn.
Ah, there we go. That's what it was. Well, good thing we have the horn. I sense the need to portalate. I think we need to go to these other guys and find out what the hell's going on.
Sure. Gibbs' curiosity is getting piqued.
Do they know where the portal goes?
No,
The temple.
they don't. It goes to the temple, but not an area that they know about.
So how much longer do we have for Sindela to be 18?
About 22 turns.
It's like having your own walk and watchtower.
Yeah, 20 minutes. Ooh, I wasn't on mute. I was worried.
Well, if so, Gib asks Gerda if she is certain that this surrender spell will last. That yes, then we can just leave and then come back. So let's.
Yeah, she knows it'll last.
Yeah, let's venture into the portal then.
Okay.
All right.
Fair enough.
So you guys are at the portal, standing before the imagery that I shared with you earlier. What will you do?
Gib will blow it again.
Okay. The surface of the water changes slightly. It had been like kind of rippling and oscillating, but now it becomes like smooth as glass. Whew.
Sounds like it's probably safe now.
Yeah, Gib will
open.
Yeah,
Right.
Gib will poke his finger into it.
It's cool to the touch. It's not wet though.
So he looks back at the group and then looks forward and steps through.
We're right behind him.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Can't let Gib go off by himself and get killed.
It's dark here on the far side of the portal. Pitch black. Can't even see your hands in front of your face. Who has a light?
I can cast light.
Well.
Hammy's got a lantern. We all have lanterns now after that last adventure.
We all have lanterns. It's the question of who has
In fact,
the
we've
lit
got
lantern.
multiple lanterns. We make a lot of noise clanging through everywhere we go, but we've got lanterns.
Are you suggesting I call for an encumbrance check?
No.
No.
All right.
Hammy's going to light his lantern.
All right, fine.
I take it Hammy's infravision wasn't working, I assume.
There was nothing to.
There was nothing to
Hammy, his eyes were starting to adapt. Do you wish to go alone, Hammy? Into the black?
Or just to stand still.
No, we're also going to stand in there, and he's looking around, make sure there's not heat sources. Hold on, guys. We got an elf, too. What's Harcourt see?
Okay.
Yeah, good point.
And Arcor has
infravision
as well, or dark vision as well. Can see in the dark.
Gib's going to cast
Slanagash.
Mm-hmm.
Gib's going to cast Eckham's Mask as well.
An oldie but a goodie.
Okay, while you're figuring out your spell result, I will. Okay, while you're figuring out your spell result and duration and things like that, I will give you a description. So there's looks like there was a fight here, a scuffle. You see a body like 10 feet away from you, and abandoned weapons kind of just scattered around, and it just smells of rot. Death.
So no, so within 60 feet, there's no, infrared movement or.
It's not really infra in my world. It's just dark vision. You can just see in the dark.
Oh, okay.
It's a lot cleaner
because it gets complicated when you start thinking about infravision and can you see.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, no problem. Fair enough.
Hammy's going to go ahead and light his lantern then, so everybody can see this.
The lantern light flares up, and you can see that the body is attired in the same way of the corpses that you pulled from the spike trees and the corpse that you found in the glade. That fancy wrapped tunic and trousers of the same black material. And whoever's killed him did so extremely efficiently. There's a javelin lodged in its back, and a short sword is like just buried in his neck.
Did you sneak in here?
Dilla gives like a nod of approval to looking at this body, like A+, maybe an A-, but
so
not bad.
Are we in a new I'm still seeing darkness. Am I supposed to be somewhere else on the screen, or? Oh, yep, you just did that, and there we are. Okay, got it. I was afraid. I was scared because it was so dark.
Scared. I was in the dark, all alone.
So somebody got here ahead of us.
Clearly, yeah. And whoever was surprised this guy.
So is this the body?
Sure, that's the body.
Okay, Gibbs gonna search the body. So are these walls here?
Yeah,
cavern walls. So we're in a cavern then.
Yeah, as you kind of go, as you sort of get searching, sort of getting your bearings in the darkness and the flaring lantern light, yeah, these are cavern walls, but they're you recognize some frescoes, but they're painted in shades of black and gray. Like, it's kind of really hard to sort of pick out. But you can see two separate scenes kind of clearly as you sort of stand back and study them. Do you want to take the time to study them, or do you want to search the bodies?
Gib will search the bodies first.
Gert is going to study the...
Okay.
Yeah.
The searching of the body doesn't really reveal anything other than a black conical hat that's sort of cast off
the black hats
4 feet away from it, and it's kind of very tall and slender and sort of flattened off at the top, like almost like a like a weird
it as a wizard's hat,
Shinto hat or something like that. And of course the javelin like lodged in his back, and the sword buried in his neck, both of which do radiate magic.
Oh wow.
And then the frescoes. So standing back and kind of trying to peer at these things, you see both of them have large numbers of dark-robed worshippers before a large gulf that stretches in the border in either direction. And both of them have these figures have their hands raised high. And
like two different sects worshiping the same thing.
Yeah, but there's different figures. So remember, these are like kind of matching frescoes on the north and the south, and they both represent, these worshipers, prostrating themselves before this huge gaping chasm. And both,
but all the worshipers appear to be black hats, right?
They're not. It's kind of hard to tell what they are. They're robed, but you can't really tell. I mean, because it's like kind of like almost like an abstracted painting.
Gotcha. I didn't know it was part of a uniform or something.
Yeah, painted in these sort of weird black. The fresco on the northern wall has storm clouds spewing forth and lightning and flames. And in the south wall, there's this tentacles kind of crawling up out of the chasm, and then a big elongated head with these kind of strange piercing eyes.
Do they look like the tentacles that tried to eat me?
Reminiscent.
Okay. So the tentacle worshippers, those are the guys we left in the glade. Because remember, they were very upset that we killed their thing.
Mm-hmm.
I should have asked if it's cookable. Hammy should have asked if there's a way to cook it.
Yeah, they were kind of that weird octopi.
Right.
But remember, it kind of dissolved into that goo.
Right, that's right. It kind of right when we were able to get the. Nonetheless, Gib picks up the short sword, and
Gib picks it up.
Yeah, Hammy was going to look at that, but
and then says to whoever else that the spear is both of them are magical. And at the same time, Gib's going to try to discern.
Make a reflex check, Gib, DC 12.
No.
Okay, you go to pick up the sword, and when you do, you feel something bite into your palm, just like, Grr! And you take a D3 points of damage. Where is my dice? You take 2 points of damage. And you can just feel this thing like chewing in your hand, like
so he instinctively pulls back and lets go of the sword.
Clatters to the floor, and you can see the hilt kind of like festooned with blood. You can see a mouth. Maybe it's on the other side.
Tammy's going to check this thing out. He's intrigued now.
So tell me what you do. Show us what you do, Hammy.
Well, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to pull out my knife, and I'm going to flip this thing over and see if there's obviously not a mouth on the other side. I think the hilt just cut into him. I think it's. I don't think it's cursed. That's what I'm looking for. Is there? Yeah, it's the sentient blade. These are inquiring minds want to know.
I'm thinking,
and then I'm going to try and pick it up after I ascertain there's no obvious mouth.
At that point, Gib's going to ask Gerda for a healing.
I can help you with that.
I almost wonder if it's like in the Naruto manga and anime, they're powerful ancient swords that if anyone but their owner picks them up, they basically begin to eat them alive.
Interesting. This guy seems more like a guard to me, but I don't know.
Yeah.
How about the spear? Does it seem to have the same thing?
He has that gut.
The spear is still lodged in the back of the corpse. Nobody's touched it or disturbed it yet.
Oh, this. Okay, it's the spear.
It's like a very slender spear. What are you doing, Gib?
He was just pointing. Gib was again earlier pointing out that they're both magical, and then that's when he went to go pick it up, and then he got bit, and now he's waiting for a heal from the nature priestess.
That's going to be a 13, which, 14.
Like it might be 1 die.
If you're neutral, it's 3 die. It's 2 dice for chaos and law.
Wow.
I just made 14.
2d6 or
yeah.
2d4?
2d4 if that's what wizards do. I don't remember what wizards have.
Yeah, they're d4.
That's great. Well, it's going to be enough anyways, because regardless of it, it's 2 1s.
There you go.
Okay.
Sure. So I'll kind of.
Hammy wants to pull this javelin out.
Okay. I'm going to hand wave some of this and just to kind of move us along here. Cindella's spell fades away and she returns to her normal stature. Studying the weapons, you can see that there is there's not a mouth, but there are these grooves on the hilt of the sword, and all of you that are like looking at it and considering it realize that anybody that grasps it will suffer the same fate that
Gib did.
that Gib did. But it is a charmed and enchanted weapon. It's a +2 weapon, and the javelin is a +2 weapon as well, but it's very fragile.
Now, does it seem that if one knows about these jagged parts on the handle and one uses the sword cautiously, one could use it without being bit or cut?
You realize that every time you grasp the hilt of this weapon, you will suffer the same.
So this weapon is designed to make you suffer while you use it.
Right.
Maybe we can sell it. Hammy's picking up the javelin if no one else wants it.
Nope. Horace and Cindella are full of daggers and weapons.
I keep hearing suggestions for an encumbrance check.
It's just wording, Aaron. Just wording. Phrasing. I have to catch up with my archer. I'm way behind. Well, gentlemen, I think we should gear up and fuck it. Let's take the hat with us too.
Okay.
Hammy's gonna wear it. You never know. It might be handy later on.
Makes me look kind of stylish, don't you think?
And when I wear it, I'm almost as tall as you guys. Oh boy, we really should have killed those guys back there in the glade. No, Hammy, we shouldn't have. I think you guys are getting weak.
Cindella totally concurs with Hammy. They start talking about the best way to actually have killed them and off them. Like
everybody else just starts ignoring you guys. God, the assassins are at it again. Damn, it's too bad about that short sword. I would love to get Hammy a short sword with some magic to it, so he could add that to his 2 attacks. Cool. But we got a flaming sword for Horace right now, or at least it appears flaming.
Yeah.
So we're moving forward?
I'm afraid so.
Means it's time for a new miniature for Horace if he survives.
Or at least glue a figure on a new sword in the back.
Exactly. Just a blade down, flame coming off of it.
Nice. Is it my imagination or is it getting narrower in here?
No, I cast an enlarge spell on the map.
Just on him.
As you kind of approach this chamber, it clearly is a chamber of sort. There are, you see in the, I'm going to give you a handout. This is kind of a little peculiar situation.
I'm going AFK for 1 minute.
Uh-huh.
He's getting some chicken? What?
I want some chicken too.
So when do you head back to college, Ethan? By the way, happy belated birthday.
Thank you. I'm heading back theoretically on the 22nd, 23rd.
Oh, you had a nice long break. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay, Gib, do not touch the book yet.
Nope. Don't do it.
So it appears to be 3. Are those stools or are they open at the top?
They're like these little wells.
Okay. And next to each one is a cup.
And next to each is a cup. And you can see also brushes at each of these wells.
Like,
oh, yes. You'd sit down and write something.
I'm thinking inkwells.
I got a bad feeling we're missing some information we should have had before this.
No, there was no. There was. You guys actually got lots more information than I was ever expecting.
How often do I get to roll 20 on Word of Command?
Back.
Not very often. There's a new handout for you to look at as I get ready to describe the room for you.
Spell book.
The first thing I said, and you were away from the table, was keep your hands off that, Kim.
Okay, so the lantern lights up this circular chamber, and you can see 3 shallow wells that are arrayed around the center of the room, and a book on a small podium before those, just like in the handout that I shared with you. And do you guys want to enter the room, or this is what you can see from the...
What is the bowl-like thing that's closest to us?
It looks like water.
Okay.
Yeah, but you're right. There is a bowl with something in it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Something.
Well, we don't have a way to go back, so let's go in.
Oh, true. Yeah.
You have to point out those heartbreaking details, don't you?
I guess that's a good question. So when we came through the portal, what did we see? Did we see when we where the portal was when we came through?
Yeah, nothing on the other side.
Okay.
Of course not.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So we're in the Dragonstone again.
From the Dragon Hall. At least with the Dragon Hall, we knew where it was supposed to be because there was a slot for it. It just wasn't activated.
Yeah, good point. Now we got to figure out where the hell we're going just to find another one of those portals. But at least we have the horn.
I was say we could blow the horn and it might pop a portal up on this side.
That's true.
But it would also alert everyone in this entire dungeon to our presence.
Right.
They might be dead. But we want to look at this. I think we want to look at the book because I want to see what they're doing. I think somebody's been writing or doing art here. This looks like a scribe's table.
Okay. Yeah. So what is that? What is that, Cindella?
Cindella was gonna cautiously approach and begin inspecting it, see if there's any hidden traps or secret compartments or stuff taped under the desk.
Okay.
Yeah, like a 9mm Glock.
Exactly.
Okay. So, all right. Well, when entering the chamber, you see these 3 wells, and inspecting their contents, you can see that they contain water, mud, and some sort of swamp slime. And before each of them is a small cup and a stylus. And there's this little podium. It's more like a kneeling desk. And on that kneeling desk is this book. It's closed. And before the desk is this shallow basin that's filled with this black murky water. And on the cover of the book is scribed in common, "Initiate's Rite of Passage."
We got some reading to do.
Okay.
Does the water look like the portal material?
It's reminiscent, yeah. Interesting observation.
That is.
It's sort of that same black murky color, but it's not moving the way the portal was. It
Right.
just looks like water. The only relation it might have had to the portal is in its color.
I'm going to look at the book.
Okay, so the book's weird. On each of the pages, as you start flipping through it, you notice that there are 3 symbols, sometimes 3 letters, but each time there are 3 distinct characters or markings drawn. Sometimes you recognize them as common letters, like an A, an R, and a T. That's bad. An A, a Q, and a F. Pages after pages of this kind of stuff. You do come across a short phrase in one of these entries, and it reads, 'Tis 3 times the faith must pass the test, 3 times over in its 3 parts.
3 times the faith or the faithful?
3 times the faith.
The faith must pass
this
the test.
3 times over in its 3 parts. It's like somebody had scribbled something right on one of these pages.
It's like we got to drink the liquids out of each of these.
No, we need to write something.
Let me type that out for you just so you have it and don't miss.
Yeah.
But there are those cups.
Right. Those cups are for getting liquid to use the paintbrush with. You don't want to drink this. You want to write something.
Forgot about those. Yep.
Yeah.
And they've got to write those letters in the book.
'Tis 3 time the faith to pass. This is it past or pass?
Passed.
Yeah, it's past.
'Tis 3 times the faith to pass this test.
So are these letters in all the pages?
They are. They all seem to be written by different hands, right? Like not one person wrote them.
But it's the same 3 letters each time.
Every time they're different.
Oh.
And sometimes there's only in some entries you notice that there are only 2 characters and like a slash or an X or or like an underscore, a mark of some sort.
Or like someone signed their name who doesn't really know how to write.
In 1 or 2 places, there's only 1 symbol and then 3 of these like kind of X marks.
I think they're initials. Like the initials of someone's name, because none of them are numbers. They're all letters, right?
So
they're all letters, correct. Of some type, shape, or form.
As a thief, one of Cinderella's abilities is to read languages or try and basically break codes, is how I interpret it would be.
Okay.
So could I have her try and potentially crack it? Take a look at it?
To have some sort of thiefly insights? Sure. Why don't you give me an intelligence check and let's just see how you do.
Okay.
Not that great.
No, not very good.
They're letters.
Well, that's an improvement on some of my other characters in the past. So
So how hard does it look like it would be to take one of those cups and dip it into the liquid in each of those things? Does the liquid look like it's close to the top, or?
Yeah, it's definitely, sure, you could reach the cup in there. It's like in the picture, right? There are the kind of narrow openings.
Right.
You might be able to dip the cup in there, but it'd be like fitting a Dixie cup into a sink drain or something like that, a very broad sink drain.
It'd probably be easier to pick up the jars and pour it.
Well, that was the next question: can you lift them up?
Yes, you can. They are heavy. They've got these big weighted bases.
Is there any of the liquid in the cup?
And in front of each of these wells is the little cup and a brush.
Okay, so Hamlin Arno Longtoes is going to go up to, that's his full name, it's going to go up to the first one on the left if you're sitting at the desk.
Okay.
He's opening the book to a blank page. He's going to take...
Are there blank pages?
There are blank pages.
He's going to take the first brush, dip it into the jar, and using the cup under the brush so it doesn't drip, he's going to walk over to the book and he's going to put an H with the first dye or color or ink he sees there.
Okay.
Hold on. Okay.
He's then going to go put it back.
Gib would like to also point out, though, that it might be a trap. Or
That's why the guy with the high luck is trying it.
Or you fail, you get something. But Gib also asks,
I'm hoping for success or success with a consequence.
just for wackiness. Before he does that, with the cup in hand and the paintbrush in hand, Gib's gonna ask him to look into the bowl that has the murky water in it, or the black water.
Okay. There's nothing in the bowl but black water.
Okay.
Maybe you're supposed to rinse the brush out.
What are you looking for, Gib?
Let's see if there's something reflected back at us, or maybe it's a vision.
Sorry, Hammy, what are you doing? You walked over to one of the wells, you picked up the brush, you got some of the ink, and you drew and you marked an H on the page. Is that right?
Yes.
What are you doing?
Well, before I do that, I want to rinse the brush in that bowl before I do that. I'm going to do that with each brush.
Okay.
And then I'm going to go to the center jar there, and I'm going to take some ink out and do the same thing, keeping it from dripping after rinsing my brush in this bowl.
Okay.
And then I'm going to put an A for Arno, and I'm going to put everything back carefully where I find it, and I'm going to repeat the process with a third jar and an L for long toes.
Okay.
And again, rinsing the brush afterwards to make sure it's clean and put back.
So when you look down at what you've marked onto the pages, and the first one is just kind of wet, like if you'd just taken, because the first well contained water, so it's just as if you had marked with a clean brush on a piece of parchment paper. The next is brown mud, the A, and then the S is like this kind of gloppy greenish color. And when you look at the other markings in the book, they're kind of this bluish black sort of tone about them.
So if we mixed a little bit of the mud and a little bit of the green and then added some water to it, would that give us more of a blue?
Try dipping into the other thing, the murky black stuff.
Well, the dirty water?
Sure, if you want to call it that. Whatever's in that bowl right there.
That's the that's where you were cleaning your brush, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's where you're cleaning the brush. Okay.
Guys, I need to step away for possibly up to about 5 to 10 minutes. I'll be back in a little bit.
Okay.
We won't kill you too fast.
We're going to shave his head while he's gone. Okay, well, Hammy being the artistic type, he's going to start getting a little bit of all three and start mixing these things in one of the cups to try to get the color. Try to get that blue, mixing the three things in one.
Good idea.
So you're mixing it in the cup?
Well, it seems the smartest thing to do. I don't know what else I can mix it in. There's no palette there.
All the ink looks the same, though, for all the letters that are in there, right?
Yeah, it all has the same kind of bluish black tone.
What is in each cup? Does each cup have water and then mud and then dye?
Yeah, each cup has a little bit of that dried pigment, I guess you could say, that dried liquid in the bottom of its cup.
That of the liquid that it was next to?
Yes. Okay. I have another idea. Can we lift these things and give them a little pour?
Sure, make a luck check.
Actually, we don't need, I don't need much. No, I'm going to do what I did with the brush. I'm going to dip the brush into the jar, and then I'm going to put it into the cup. So I'm going to get, basically 2 brush loads. You know how that is when you're painting. Yeah. Using each brush for keeping each brush and each cup separate, because clearly they've been kept separate. And then I'm going to pour the 3 of them into this water here. And I'm going to use a brush to mix it all up and then try to write my letters quickly with what gets mixed up.
Sure. Okay. The markings on the page now are just like this kind of gray, muddy mess. It's like you're absolutely like you use your rinse cup to sort of watercolor your initials into the book. Whereas your initial efforts were kind of a clean, barely can even see that H, then the brown A, and then the kind of sickly green S.
When you dip the brush into the basin at the front, whatever, you know, the leading basin that's there, what
That's
would
water.
happen?
Yeah, that's like clear water.
It's water, mud,
Okay,
and
so the
pond
three in the
scum.
background is water, mud, and something green, right?
Pond scum.
And the bowl that's at the very front of the picture is also water?
Yeah, it's like black, murky water, like dirty water.
I just think of paintbrush water is what I think of when you know, because I see the paintbrush.
Yeah, absolutely, like a paintbrush water. Yeah.
Hammy's doing it because he's got a better luck than Gerda, and I can't think of her full name. So I'm trying to think what else I can possibly mix this paint in, because each brush has on it what it's next to, right? So like the one brush next to the water is clean, the brush then next to the mud has mud, and the brush next to the pond scum has pond scum. So you use the brush to take it out.
Yeah, I mean the brushes have some remnants of that pigment on them. It's not like they're dried or crusted. Or
okay, well, I have one more idea, and then I'm gonna
hold on. Can I get a question here? What's the pigment color of? Is it the pigment color of dirt and pigment color of pond scum?
Yeah,
is that what you mean by that?
Yeah, when he brushed out the H with the water, it just was like you had marked a H with water on a page. When you did the A with the mud, it left a brown. It left a brown.
That's not what I'm asking.
The ink in the book is blue.
In each cup, you said there's pigment. Okay, so what's the pigment color in the far left cup?
Clear.
So there's no pigment, right?
It's water.
Each cup seems to have in it what is in the jar.
What's in the jar, right? Okay, that's what I wanted to verify. Thank you.
All right, so I'm going to take my 3 cups here and open them up and set them next to, and I think I just need to dip a brush in the H and make the H with one, and then do the H with the second, and do the H with a third.
Oh, and now it's sort of
so basically
the tone of that bluish.
Nice. Got a wet blend. I'm wet blending. All right, I'm wet blending my initials.
Okay, and you hear this. There's this grinding, and a passage opens on the eastern wall.
It's a good thing we have painters in this group.
Jesus
Good
Christ.
going there, Hammy.
Thank you. Hey, you guys got all the music stuff last time, so
make sure you, or I would do your next initials as well.
He did all.
Oh, he did all 3 initials.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Ooh. By the way, the last time we had a color and art related, I wouldn't say was a
Sculpture,
lock.
wasn't it?
Well, it was that lock we had to deal with in your Pacificon group. My elf ended up pregnant for that adventure because we had to drink the fluids in the right order, and she just drank one or whatever.
The rainbow puzzle, yeah.
Yeah, ended up pregnant. So at least Harry didn't end up pregnant.
There's that.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Still a chance, Hammy.
Oh, it's a great storytelling part of her, though. I love that about that character. Sorry. All right. I suggest, this is just an opinion, that we move through the door.
Yeah. I think that the riddle's been solved. Good job, Hammy. Excellent job.
He's a painter.
Let me just catch up on my notes here for a second, and I'll.
That's fine. Just
give
don't
me a
kill.
chance- it'll
No
give
kill
me a
eye.
chance to catch us up, and I'm just going to drop my headset.
Sorry if I just took over, guys. I felt inspired.
No problem. You figured out what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
So what was going on?
Oh, had to apply each one in a row.
Each liquid.
Each liquid had to wet blend it on the page, basically. Do the H of my letter 3 times, once with each liquid on top of each other, and then they all mixed together and turned in. And then I did the next letter and the next letter, and then the door opened.
Okay.
I was pretty impressed with myself, Mr.
Absolutely.
Okay. Sorry, I just love art-related puzzles.
I was looking at what Aaron had typed, and noticed some of the words were not spelled the way that you would expect them to.
Right, like that's why I asked about past or pass.
Right. So I was trying to figure out if those letters were somehow indicating something, but apparently not.
So Hammy signed us in, so our room should be ready soon. Finished my car.
I finished
where are we
my
now?
monk.
And now we're waiting because Aaron has to catch up on some notes because he thought he'd have killed us by now.
Well, I think the word of command really threw off stuff.
I'm proud of myself.
I'm very impressed.
You've been
I'm very impressed.
Very bad. No big lightning bolts to save the group, and no big, flaming fountain of death to the enemies.
Cindella's pretty content. She went thwang.
I'm just worried that now Aaron has the precedence of rolling a 20, saying, "Oh, I'm going to save that for the next battle."
Now, in my defense, I was trying to cast a spell. Had said I was going to cast a spell, and we were questioning whether I'd fixed the spell check. But God bless him for letting me keep that 20. That would have been heartbreaking. It's like saying, no, that Cindella, the one Cindella got last week didn't count.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, well.
That's the thing is, we left the guy bleeding.
We did. We went boom, boom. And blew the end of her crossbow.
I have a feeling that would have been a really tough combat.
I think so, too. I was getting ready to try and light it up with Horus to try and just rapid fire off of Cindella's rapid fire, but just lay into him.
Yeah, well, our group's gotten to the point where as soon as the soliloquy is over, we just unload every ranged weapon we have.
Pretty much.
So Hammy has a crossbow.
Oh, man, you caught me monologuing again.
Has anyone seen the second one, by the way?
Yeah.
Is it good?
I did.
Is it good?
It's good. It's good.
Yeah,
it didn't seem to have quite the magic as the first one.
Correct.
But definitely worth seeing.
Yeah, it's a little it's different. It's almost as good, but not as good.
Okay.
Yeah, certainly renting. I don't know about seeing it. If you're a big fan of the first, then certainly go see it in the theater. But
no, I as Heather puts it, we were just talking about what movies we wanted to go see, and she's like, "Well, we have car payments now, so a lot of movies don't need to be seen on the big screen." And that seems like one I can watch at home.
I'm sure Grace is probably going to want to go see the new. I just blanked the name. Was it the new Winnie the Pooh movie? But I blanked
Christopher Robin. Oh my God!
It's got Ewan McGregor in it. So.
Oh my God! And they matched the original voices. I'm going to be crying my eyes out the entire film. I can't wait. I'm sorry.
Because the first trailer I saw of it really didn't imply what kind of movie it was going to be.
Right. The
'Cause
first trailer is him sitting in the park, right? And then
Yeah,
who
and
walks out?
like having a bad day.
Right.
But then I saw a second trailer where they're driving in a car and the animals start like dropping out of the sky on the hood of their car, and Christopher Robin is all excited and his wife is freaked out. So it seems to be more of a either it's going to be like a fun family comedy or it's going to be a dark Christopher Robin's losing his mind thing.
I hope it's a fun family comedy because there's that scene where he's walking down the street and he says, "You can't let people see you move." So yeah, I don't know.
That would be pretty awesome though if it was the dark one, that he's losing his mind.
True, he's completely insane, and it'll be like Shutter Island.
Mm-hmm.
I figured that entire movie out based on the ad. I went, oh, he's not actually looking for the killer of his wife and kid because he's the killer of his wife and kid. He's actually in the asylum, right? And one of my students said, "I thought you didn't see it." I go, "I didn't need to. I saw the ad."
Right.
Okay. I'm
Are you
back
back?
with you guys. Yeah. Sorry, I just needed some time to catch up. My notes are a little bit scattered right now, so
You let me keep that 20. I can be patient.
sure. Okay. So as you kind of approach this chamber, it's a large gallery of sort in this natural chamber. There are it's filled with bookshelves. Some in the center of the chamber, some lining the walls. There are rugs. There are little reading areas with, plush chairs around unlit sconces. Those are like torch holders in the walls, and before one of these shelves is has got a bunch of like little knickknacks and curios, little statuettes and things all placed carefully within it. And in front of this bookshelf with all these curios is a large trunk. It's 8 feet long. It's huge.
Does it have a bunch of feet under it?
Doesn't have any feet. No.
Good. All
Is
right.
there a black cat on it?
No cats standing on this trunk.
Oh, thank God! I hate that cat. I hated that cat.
Is it an elephant trunk attached to something else?
No, it's a chest.
I think Cinderella should.
And it's made of iron,
should
8
check
feet
for
long and
traps.
3 feet high.
Okay. Cinderella will do a walk around it, seeing,
Sure.
Potentially where the hinges are, how this thing might open, and checking for obvious traps, and then beginning to slowly move closer and begin inspecting the actual trunk itself.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a detect traps.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell you the DC. Let's just see how you do.
That's perfectly acceptable.
That's a great way of doing it.
I think that's probably the easiest way to do it.
Well,
Yeah.
that or you rolling it, but
Yeah, but that's hard.
well, yeah, and I think this is easy. Only you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, there are no traps. You can see these markings, these kind of runic markings around the edge of the trunk, on the the band or the border of the lid, where the lid meets the base.
Cinderella will ask our wizarding friend Gib if he is detecting magic from the trunk or if he can read these runes.
Gib does sense magic. This trunk does radiate magic, and the runes themselves are also appear to have their own source of magic.
And can Gib read them?
Sure, give me an intelligence check, Gib.
Are you doing a D20?
Add your intelligence mod. You make out 2 words that are repeated in sequence amongst these carvings or these markings. The first one is send, and then a few characters later, you see mend. Send and mend, repeated ad nauseum in sequence around the edge of this trunk.
So it's probably some sort of rhyming pattern going on around this trunk.
Stop that rhyming, and I mean it.
Does anybody want a peanut?
Thank you. Thank you.
I don't know where they are, but I've seen it.
Do you really mean it?
Damn it.
We have now left Princess Bride way behind.
Gibbs going to turn his attention to other things around the thing while Cinderella keeps on looking at the thing.
Okay.
Yeah,
sure.
I'm gonna look at some books. Hammy's sticking close to Cinderella because he's liking this chest.
So it looks like there are other exits out of this room. If we kind of like wander around a little bit. So just something to be aware of. Keep an eye on the exits.
Good observation. Yeah, there are other exits that, sort of as you walk the perimeter of this chamber, excuse me, you do notice other exits. They're east, west, northeast, and southish.
So Gibbs going to peruse through the books to see if he sees anything that he can read or recognize. Or
there are a lot of most are written in common, some are not. There is they're mostly these like weird esoteric ramblings about trees or the black night that rises in the east when the sun sets in the east. It's just this bizarre, kind of almost crazy ramblings.
But it might appear to be like cult-like and or related to this
yeah.
religion,
yeah, very
religion
culty.
of decay.
Yeah, very culty. There isn't a lot here about decay. It's more about peculiar interpretations, maybe. Might be the best way to put it.
Once again, just another crazy cult of end times.
We run into a lot of these.
It seems to always be the case.
It's the
end of time cult.
The times that we live in.
Yeah.
The company we keep.
Trying to speed up the end.
Right. Let's see here.
So there's nothing else of peculiarity or nothing else radiating magic. It's pretty much this chest.
Yeah.
And again, it said send and mend.
Correct.
Right. And there doesn't look like there's any type of contraptions or levers or.
Well, there are no traps on this thing.
I'm sorry. Let's go back to the trunk as Cinderella kind of completes her inspection. You can quite clearly see that there's a locking mechanism on the face of the trunk.
Okay.
And that will and it appears locked. I mean, you don't even have to touch it to recognize that this thing is sealed to tampering.
Right. Trying to pick it might result in death or other things.
So we could get the other wizard to cast enlarge, because couldn't he technically try to cast enlarge on the lid?
Yeah, I've done that with doors.
With doors, yeah. That blew out their framings, right?
Mm-hmm.
It might be hard to distinguish the trunk lid from the trunk itself, though.
Sure, you could certainly you could certainly try that.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna get further than I'm gonna get with this lock.
Gibbs just speculating. He's not
Sure,
he's
and
not saying
I'm spitballing with you.
Yeah. So he still thinks Cindella might be able to open it up. She is a thief.
Cindella is not 100% confident this lock should be picked.
I have a feeling we can find something that'll do this.
Yeah. Does it look like it needs a key of some type, or is it more like a weird looking, a non-common key style? What's the lock look like?
Good question.
It's flat. It's black. It's iron. It's almost flush with the face of the trunk lid and the base of the trunk, and it's very kind of intricately cast. It's like it's been a cast feature. There's like these, almost like these sort of sunburst radiance coming off of it, and it's dark. It's like almost, but it has this kind of blued effect to it. In fact, here I'll show you exactly what it looks like.
Uh-oh.
Oh boy.
I just put something on your token layer about what that.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Like.
So Cindella takes like one look at this and goes, "Nope."
Oh, that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
We are going to figure something else out that was going to answer this question. I say we shouldn't fuck with this thing right now.
Nope, this looks like a magic lock, and that is not Cindella's game.
So I'm sorry, that's the lock that you just displayed?
Yeah, that's like the pattern, the shape, the structure of it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, you need like a light key for that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we're not even talking like skeleton key. We're talking like
right, exactly.
A force sword.
Or like a symbol.
There is a slot. I mean, for a key or like that could be placed, used, or opened.
So this is kind of like a cast look to it, is what you're saying. It wasn't necessarily carved out. It might have looked cast, or
right.
Not that's right. And then there's a slot for a key.
Right. Okay.
Got it. Okay.
Still, that is.
That's a sign we should come back to it later. It's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Well, if the thief doesn't feel like she can do it, then.
Assassination's one thing, but lock picking things that look magical in nature, usually that's a wizard's to at least get rid of the magic part.
Okay. Yeah, well, we can come back to it. That's fun. Let's move on.
Yeah, so if the wizard can lift any curses.
Southeast, west, roughly. I say
we have one to the south.
Southeast. Well, we have two to the south. There's that one. Southeast. Then southwest. Then west.
Wow, it looks like a chalk outline of a guy laying there.
A little bit, yeah.
Should we go west?
Southwest. Let's go southwest.
All right.
Down to the depths of hell we go.
Thanks for keeping our spirits up there, Ethan.
You're welcome.
So, with our dark vision people, we could kind of do the same thing that Aaron was doing in my game, where we send them ahead and scout out and get a bigger range, possibly. What's the range of our light right now?
Right.
30 feet.
Right. Although you're kind of coming to this opening at the end of the chamber, and it sort of broadens and expands out, and you can see this faint luminescence, which is greatly expanding your line of sight in this area.
But a good call, Nils. We need to remember that.
That was so fun.
Yeah, that was. Just the two of us trying to stay alive.
We played a game on, I think it was last weekend, wasn't it, Nils?
Yeah.
So long ago.
Yeah.
Where it was just Peter and I exploring the dungeon with 2 characters each, right?
Mm-hmm.
And or maybe I had 3 characters. Yeah. Anyway, we had 1 character with dark vision, so we created a token for him, and we just ran him around ahead of, a little bit ahead of the party, so he could use his dark vision and see 60 feet instead of the 30-foot limitation.
Right.
Well,
right,
no,
right.
and where we were was actually there's some kind of magic was reducing our lantern light
Oh,
too.
that made it
So
even worse.
yeah, we really needed it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So yeah. Well, that is a good idea, because I thought we had infravision, but now we have night vision. So there's 3 of us that could go ahead, but like Aaron just said,
we don't need to this time, but we're going to remember it for future.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna step slightly out into the clearing here.
Sure. Let me know when you do that. I still see you in the tunnel going. What
yeah,
is
that's
that?
I'm asking the group.
Oh,
I think we should.
Yeah, I think we move forward.
Hesitate and be lost.
Oh my! It's
Gotta let
blind.
my eyes adjust.
Ow!
Oh, are we back? Are we back beyond the Dragon Wall? It's almost like that. There's like those
know.
trees. Are those trees over there?
Is that a river that I see?
And a house?
And a cabin?
okay. Let me give you a
And a Lego?
Lego. Let's see. Oh shoot. There's a sorry. Could you just back into the tunnel real quick? There's a couple of changes I need to make really quickly.
You're gonna hide the Lego now that I spotted it.
Mm-hmm.
No, I forgot to put the gold dragon over there on the right.
I did this lighting layer a few weeks ago, and I forgot to make a couple of additions. That
He forgot to add his newly painted miniatures.
I know. Let me get them out of the box. Jesus. What was I thinking?
That joke is timeless with this group.
It works on so many levels.
It really does.
It really does.
Because the concept is true. You've got new things we haven't seen. They're visuals.
Right. Okay, go ahead. Sorry, back into the cavern. So this is a large cavernous area, but it's lit with a dull phosphorescent hue. You can see these like patches of kind of bright fungus on the ceilings. It's about 60 feet above you at least. And the ground is covered with this short bladed grass. But in a kind of a gray tone. And there's a faint shadow to the south created by a rise in the earth that extends east and west. So another rise that you can't quite see beyond. But you can see sort of what looks like a structure or building of some sort almost due south from your current position. And off to your west, you can see like these shrubs. That's the green markings on the map. And
The chartreuse, the light green.
yes, chartreuse. And then
That has a glow in the middle of it.
And then to the east, you can see some larger trees. And these areas on the map where you see these kind of glows, that's where the patches of the phosphorescent fungus are in the ceiling.
Mm.
I'm
So
looking for
Nils,
Lego.
all I did here was put a token on the lighting layer and then give that its lighting characteristic.
And what kind of token was it?
Just that token I shared with you guys about what the block looked like. any token. It could have been another character.
Okay.
You could just make a shape.
Yeah.
So just quick question. As you were describing the grass is kind of like this grayish. Are any of the colored objects on us, are they still the same color they were, or are they kind of a dullish gray as well?
Interesting. Yeah, it seems to be sort of a light effect, though the when the lantern light shines on the grasses, you can see that they're kind of this brownish gray. And they slightly crunch underneath your boots.
Okay.
Feet.
Okay, cool. So it's not some sort of magic spell that's making us colorblind. Cool.
No. Yes.
All right. But the grass is probably pretty dead if that's the color that it is and it's crunching.
Well, or it's just that that's what grows here is this natural, weird, crunchy.
Yeah, it just looks like grass. It could be a fungus or a lichen or something.
Could be.
So also to the group, there is something to the far east that Gib was looking at.
Yeah, it's a Lego.
Oh, hang on a second. Yeah, you can see what looks there if you can glimpse it in your.
Yeah, the light is just hitting it.
Oh, I see it. I'm looking at it now too.
See how cool
it's
that.
It's a. It looks like a stone table from this distance.
Is there a lion on it?
There is no lion, but it is.
That means he's been resurrected.
And,
You are correct, sir.
And what is that building to the bottom left?
It's like almost 200 feet. This building here.
Mm-hmm.
It's like some sort of structure. You can't quite make it out. It looks like it might be burned or broken. It's like maybe almost, maybe even shack-like.
I say we explore that first.
Me too, because it's on
I
high
would agree.
ground.
And it's also closer, so.
Hang on a second. So you guys are going to go up the hill there?
Yes, sir.
We need to make a change.
And can we hear Rodder running there, or is it just
You
appear
do,
to be?
yeah.
Okay.
It is a slow-moving stream. It's not rushing. It's just slow moving.
And by the way, I just want to note this is all you. You didn't just scan the artwork. You made all this.
No, this is the map. I added the color.
Okay.
That's all I did.
Cool.
And then the lighting layers. So
Still looks great. Loving it.
Yeah, it looks really good.
yeah, it's just the GM maps from the module that Guy provided to me unkeyed, so they don't have the notes or the markings for like the encounter locations.
Right.
So
Perfect.
think about like a AD&D module, right? Those maps. That's what I'm using here because, I mean, in a traditional game, only the GM gets to see that, and he's trying to convey the setting, the environment, the tone through
Right. All the words.
his narrative. That's
Sure.
pretty hard to do when I can do that still, but then give to you all a visual reference to, right? Which I think is really super interesting.
No, yeah.
I think it's interesting, and it helps with the interactive part of Roll20. It really, it's a big piece of it that we can see where we're going all, and it's
Right.
not just narrative. And I like narrative, you know me, but I think this really works.
And
Yeah.
it would be so much more difficult trying to map it and share the map with everybody.
Yeah.
Right.
Shall we proceed to the cabin?
Yeah. Go
Yes,
ahead.
sir.
Move yourself to where you'd like to be. I'm just adjusting some of my lighting stuff for aesthetics purposes.
Thank you.
Oops, I need to change that notation. You probably banged into something you can't pass, right?
None shall pass.
None shall pass. Now fix that.
not pass.
Fix it. There we go.
You shall not pass.
All right.
Oh.
So you come up this rise. It's it's kind of steep just there at the top, and there's a small grouping of wooden buildings that have been completely destroyed by fire. And near the center of them is this huge tree, but it's this large black oak tree that's been encased in this gelatinous substance. It's like the fire that destroyed the building had no effect on this tree whatsoever.
Like the tree's in a
And-
stasis cube or something.
Yeah. And when you look at it more closely, you see that branches appear to move and flow within the jelly as if it were being blown by a breeze.
By a wind we can't feel.
But you can't feel a wind. And yeah, but you can't feel a wind. So I have a handout for you.
Somebody's come through here and really messed this place up. And we know it's not the guys in the glade because they said they can't leave the glade.
Well, and they were trying to get to this or something.
Right. They wanted to do what we're doing. Hammy still regrets not killing.
Everyone wants to do what you guys are doing.
That's because we are. Was it 1 in 10,000?
That's right, 1 in 10,000.
So the tree. Does it appear that this gloop is like actually surrounding the tree?
Mm-hmm. It's like completely encasing it, like as if it had been on every branch and leaf. This.
But a tree normally, and it looks like a normal tree.
Looks like a great oak.
Big giant oak that's gotten this slime covered all around it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do we detect magic from the slime? I don't. But
I'm studying my notes. I'll tell you in a moment.
Yeah, I'm saying I'm not detecting, obviously.
And then I'm curious if this oak actually reaches all the way to the ceiling and is almost going through it, or if it's not actually hitting the ceiling.
That's right, because we're underground.
It comes right up to the top of the cavern.
Okay, but it doesn't seem to like pierce through it or anything like that.
No, it doesn't break through the cavern roof.
All right. We don't have ourselves a mini Yggdrasil.
And it's black. This tree is, shining your lantern light on it it's black.
Does it look like the ground has been fired as well?
Around it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Is this some other tree? Is this a holy oak?
It does have that kind of connotation about it, but also you can see that there are runes carved around the base of the tree, and kind of glowing in that weird pulsing orange.
So Gerda should be able to determine if this is a tree being encapsulated by something bad, or maybe can interpret if this is an evil that's surrounding the tree.
Right. Well,
is the rune on Cindella's palm like heating up or flaming as she is nearing this thing, or is it, in other words, is it reacting to the tree?
That's an interesting idea there too.
It does glow, sort of faintly in the presence of these other runes.
Okay. So it's reacting to it a little bit, but it's not anything major. It's almost just being in the presence of the same runes.
Do we see a blade stabbed into the tree anywhere?
No, there's no dagger plunged into its trunk.
So this is not a dagger we see before us.
Correct.
I say we quickly search the burnt places though first.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mend and send.
I'm wondering if this slime is actually what caused these buildings to burn down.
Maybe, or it's been slimed to like keep it from doing its, good job, or be a natural awesome tree,
Yeah. Or it got slimed to protect it from the fire, but I think it was been slimed to stop it doing from what it's supposed to do But to be honest, I don't know if that's a bad thing, because with the orange glowing runes, the guys who did that, I have a feeling we got 2 sets of bad guys we're dealing with here. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so too.
I would concur. Yeah.
I think that
We are the only good guys.
We're gonna take out both sides, because I think that they both worship the same thing, but they don't like each other, because they think.
I think you're right. I think we're in the middle of a schism
of a
Or they worship
religious war.
It's like one worships Jupiter and one worships Zeus.
Yeah.
I think that they both
Protestants and Catholics.
Thing. Yeah, it's Protestants.
I think it's Northern Ireland is what we're dealing with here.
Yeah, exactly.
We got one group who's fucking with the other, and I think, God, okay, the Glade guys.
They both believe in this decaying god thing. They're just both crazy.
Okay, so the buildings are nothing more than just burnt out shacks. One of them is a little bit larger than the others, but
no bodies.
No bodies. They're cold, like they burned some time ago. But there's still the stench of charred wood.
Right.
So it wasn't like, it's not ancient.
Well, no, it's a cave. I can't imagine the air circulates that freely. Is there any indication what the buildings were used for?
Like living spaces.
Okay.
You can see a wrecked table and a charred bed, that kind of stuff.
Does it look like this tree is like in the ground properly? Like it
does. It looks like it is well rooted and has been in this place for
a long
centuries.
Time. Yeah, then I think that this slime's bad stuff.
I do too.
As we're going through these buildings, are we seeing any burned bodies at all?
No, he said there's no bodies.
All right.
Oh, there's a lake.
Yeah, there's a lake behind it.
I was just thinking about.
Mm-hmm. We could go around. I don't think we should get too close to the
tree,
to the slime.
No, I agree until we have a better idea of what it is.
A better idea.
Can we read the runes from where we are? Can Slanesha read the runes? Is there something that she recognizes?
Sure.
We'll try.
One of you can make an intelligence check.
Okay.
Well, shouldn't it be Gib or Arcor?
No, I was thinking the Chaos Elf, because they're Chaos runes, but that's just. But whoever is the highest intelligence, if it's just a base intelligence test.
Right, that's what it sounds like. What's Arcor's intelligence?
Well, Slana Shaw's is. Arcor's is not great. Or not. It's not. It's average.
Yeah, average for an elf.
Yeah.
So Gib will roll it then.
Oh, I just rolled it. Oh. I got 12.
There's one that you make out, and or a style that you make out of warding off. That's one of these runes.
It's probably the same rune that ended up kicking Syndella on our ass.
It does not look like any of the runes that you remember, Syndella.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good to know. That's good to know.
Should we go check out the table or get close to the lake?
Lake.
Not too close. I keep thinking of tentacles.
Come around this way.
Okay.
And skirting the whole thing, and then we're going to come around here.
Yeah, I'm curious if where this lake goes out, or if it's just
it goes out past the table. He said it's slowly moving water, so it obviously exit the.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm wondering if there's any like inrush of water, or if it's.
Oh yeah. So gotcha.
Yeah, it flows from west to east downhill.
Okay.
So
clearly, there's a water source coming from beyond.
From the west somewhere.
Yes.
Correct. Just skimming my notes.
The Great West.
Yeah. Okay. So this is like kind of like just a really big pond. and the water's kind of greenish and brackish. There's like a kind of an algae-like substance that covers the bank, and which then slopes down towards the pond. It looks really slippery.
We don't want to get too close.
No, we don't.
Do we
It
have
looks
that?
like it's quite deep. You can see that how I've two-toned the water there.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Yup.
Do we have that 10-foot pole still?
Oh, it broke a long time ago.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that broke.
I was just making sure.
I think
So
we might
how
have
long-
2 5-footers on us.
How? So do we? Yeah. So what is the longest thing we've got to poke at the slime with?
We got this. We got a javelin.
Aircore has a spear.
There we go.
Yeah,
That's better than my
which-
new magic javelin.
Which? So does somebody want to go poke the slime?
Sure, he'll carefully do that.
Sorry, just give me my notes.
Yeah, skip the part with the giant octopus.
Mm-hmm. And the giant dragon.
Oh, I have pictures I should trim up and send out. Let's see. I think the car's done, but it might need some more detailing.
I think this is a good place to stop.
Okay.
Yeah.
That can't be good.
That means that something's gonna happen.
No, it's just
There's a lot of information coming.
yeah, and like I said, my notes. I'm not. You guys know how I mark up my module, right? So that when I'm showing it to the camera.
The slime completely engulfs our core.
Uh,
Got it.
but that way that I don't have to read the whole thing. I don't have to read each
Mhm.
entry. I can just sort of skim through it and have a sense about
Right.
Yeah.
how it works or what's supposed to happen, or
Oh,
what
yeah.
the scene, how to set the scene.
Yeah.
Well, that was fun. How about hits and misses for you guys tonight? Maybe we'll just go in order with.
I'll go.
Nils. Oh, you're going to go first, Mike?
Yeah, just it was good. Just Gib didn't get to fire off anything fun. So, but it
No-
seems like we overcame a lot of stuff
No
very
lightning bolts.
yeah, with some word of command stuff and then an artistic little halfling.
Challenge, yeah.
Yeah, great puzzle solving.
How about for you, Nils?
It's good to be back. And I like the puzzle aspect to it, just because it's just something different. And not having to fight through the cultists.
That was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That absolutely didn't go the way I was expecting. I was all geared up for a fight. You saw how I set the table.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I was expecting a lot
And
of
then
blood.
you
at that
broke
one.
the encounter with the 20.
That
Well, you
tends to
broke
be what
it. You didn't
20s
break
do.
it, you just changed it. Well, what about for you, Ethan? Any hits or misses?
Hit would be Horus has a flaming sword, or sword that can ignite things with fire. Which means time for a new sword on his miniature. That'll be fun.
Yeah, I want to quickly take a recap, or when you finish with your, at the end of the session, I want to take a list of magic
What we're carrying.
items that you guys have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But let's finish
Yeah.
with the recap.
Let me see. Oh, miss would be Cinderella didn't get to slit anybody's throat. She wanted to kill those guys badly. But yeah, all in all, it was a fun session. I enjoyed all the different role playing and the puzzles and just figuring stuff out.
Yeah, that was really cool. Peter.
Well, the biggest hit for me was just a lot of role playing. Talking to these guys and figuring stuff out, and big hit is I've made so many of my rolls, which I don't often do, so that got them at the right time. But yeah, that was. I felt like we made a lot of progress, but the role playing part of it was just so fun. Between puzzles and talking to those guys instead of having to kill them. I feel like I feel like we're way ahead of where we might have been.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't feel like I know anything, but I feel like I know more of nothing.
Right.
There are two sides to nothing.
Right. Right, but the downside was nobody got to blow shit up, which is fine because we didn't get blown up either.
Right.
There was no blowing up in response.
Because I just think that combat was gonna be hard. I could have seen that taken. I had a feeling this was going to be another one of those. The combat is great, but it takes all night.
I was almost prepared. I was prepared for that. I thought it was a great way to tackle the encounter. It was very surprising to me as a GM, and I just had to kind of adapt to that. For me, the big hit of the night was Arkor and Slan Nagash in the forest with the lug.
Yeah.
I mean, that set the tone really for the night's adventure, and I think that was great.
Yeah,
kicking it off like that for us, Nils, it was awesome.
I agree. Extraordinarily well done.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then the miss for me, I think, was some of the prep side. I need to, but I'll just get on it. And I've read the
module.
I've read more than where you guys are. I've read quite a bit of the module. I just haven't marked it up. So,
well, Aaron,
from
a player's point of view, first off, not to speak for everybody, just for myself, I know there's a shit ton of stuff you have to keep track of. And so if you have to stop and look at things, it never bothers me. I'm like, that's cool. It's like, dude, that's cool. That's all part of what has to happen. It's like, well, I have to check my sheet. I got to, the spell I did, but you have to, I would rather you do that than get it all wrong or, oh, fuck that whole thing up because I winged it or I forgot this, or I have no trouble whenever you go, hey, can you guys hold on a minute? I'm like, no problem. No problem at all.
Yeah, as I was reminded Saturday when I was running a game for my friends, you always got to go back and look.
Just to sort of double check, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do a quick magic item recap. Slanagosh has the Oboe of Doom. Arkor does he have any magic items?
No, but Slaanesh also has the refractive backpack. The sphere, right? Right. Well, not the sphere itself, but the backpack it was in. Because
I don't remember that being magical. The backpack.
Well, it may not be magical, but it's like we couldn't see it normally, so I thought I wasn't sure.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Why was that? I'll have to go back and check.
And then she also has a magic box with 3 maggot paintbrushes and 16 paint jars.
Oh yeah.
Oh right.
Box of paints.
Yeah, no, the box of demon paints. That's like out of a Neil Gaiman story.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm personally very excited about Good Omens coming on.
So that's Slaanesh, and Arkor actually has no magic items.
Okay.
He's much more sensible.
He can have a short sword.
Oh. Horace has the Kith mail, right?
Yep, the blood forged Kith mail, and he has the sword of fire.
Oh. The sword.
Cindella has the orb that can float.
And the dagger.
Oh, yes. What dagger? I don't know what you're talking about.
The dagger of forgetfulness.
Yes. The luck dagger. Which, technically speaking, someone else could have if they want the luck, because...
Well, yeah, but for now, I mean, it's working for you. And you found it, so yeah, keep it. Besides, I don't know, a thief with a luck bonus is a good idea.
Cindella also has the brand, right? The rune.
Oh, yes, the rune on her palm.
Brand on the
But
palm.
that doesn't count for encumbrance, does it?
No. But it does count for effects, right?
Yes.
It only counts for encumbrance on her soul.
That's right. Well, she's chaotic. It may be a plus.
Right.
Yeah, we still don't actually know exactly what this thing does yet.
Okay, cool. Cool. Who else?
What's Gib got?
What are you asking? Who's
Magic.
got
Any magic we're carrying?
So I've got the magic greaves
Mm-hmm.
and the magic dice. That's the only thing that Gib has. It's magical.
And that smile, that magical smile.
Sure.
Let's see, Gerda.
Well,
RTA, right? Gerda.
It's Gerda. Gerda.
Gerda.
Germanic, yeah.
I'll catch you guys next time.
All right, Mike. Nice hanging out with you, man.
Definitely. See you next week.
Well, quicker is handy because he's now, I think the only magic he has is the javelin he's now carrying. Let me double check here. I don't see anything else. Little bummed I'd have to sacrifice blood to the damn short sword to use that.
Oh, is he carrying the short sword?
No, we have it bundled up in somebody's backpack. Well, it might be him because he's got the least encumbrance right now.
I'll note it on his just.
He's not carrying it to use it. He's carrying it to get rid of it later, sell it, or whatever. But if someone's got steel gauntlets, hey, we should have checked the body to see if it had a chewed up hand. But Gerda, she has magic dice we found somewhere. It's an early adventure. She's got that awesome +2 mace. And she is carrying on her longbow. She has Horatio's that ancient string that was registered as magic that they found in the jar in the adventure with the TPK.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, Rydian gave that to her ages ago. So she's got her longbow string is that ancient string, and she's got those 6 arrows she's never fired, those 6 arrowheads.
Yeah, those kind of arcane.
Yeah, they were stone arrowheads. So she's made them into arrows, but she's not fired them. So I think that's all the magic she's got, and a holy symbol, which is just what her character carries. It's not listed as magic. Oh, wait. No, yeah, I got a +2 shield.
+2 shield?
Yeah,
what?
It says Kith. It's a Kith shield. I think we got it in Beyond the Dragon Wall because my shield got crunched by that goddamn giant lizard. So
the +2 is that's the AC mod because it's a venom shield.
Then I had Kith next to it because it is a Kith shield.
It's Kith. It's Kith.
It's Kith source. Yeah, okay. So that's not magic.
Not magic.
So we're not decked out
like all the burdens that Kithian stuff does.
Right.
Cool.
Lighter weight or whatever. Yeah, we're not like a D&D party, Which ring am I gonna wear at this room, and which magic sword do I use? We've got a few things.
Right.
And some of the magic we've had in the past has definitely had a price to pay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I try to do with for DCC, right? It shouldn't be too super common, but it should all have a price.
Right, or just be like a shift.
Oh, who has the Heartstone? That was another thing.
Oh, the
that
Demon
fixed
Stone?
magic.
Yeah, Cinderella has that. Because Gib won't take it.
That's right. He failed his role.
And the Black Horn. Bella has the Black Horn.
Well, we assume Gibbs
has
been blowing that horn, so we're gonna assume he has it. He and Ethan are our musicians.
Horn. Okay. Cool. Oh, I don't necessarily want to pin that. Can I do? Okay.
Oh, I like the monk. Nice highlighting on his is that armor on his stomach?
Nope. That is just his
That's his
pecs.
stomach. Nice highlighting. Nice highlighting.
Thank you.
So I like the tattoos. Bit of the airbender look to it.
Exactly.
Oh yeah. Huh. That's cool, man.
Yeah. Nice work. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen the cars that MicroArts does.
Holy smokes, Peter, that car looks badass.
Yeah, I think it might need some swirly silver curly cues, but right now I'm really liking it. It's got a bit of a
it's very soft and powdery looking.
Got a bit of a Batmobile look to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, super cool.
Mm-hmm. Looking good.
Oh, and I got a couple bookshelves done, but
those don't count.
Well, they're fine. It's just not worth taking a bunch of pictures of. Whereas that thing, I'm really pleased. That went from black primer to what you see while we were playing.
Yeah, no, that's like a retro Batmobile, like.
Yeah, like 1930s. Yeah, 1940. Yeah. Well, there's filigree all over the truck, but it's actually sculpted on the figure.
Mm.
I haven't got it yet. I mail ordered it.
Nils, are you still on the line?
Yeah.
You need to get this dungeon thing.
The auction that I sent?
Yeah. Is it just eBay miniature, or is it just Reaper miniatures, or is it some sort of...
It's just Reaper.
Really? Oh, look at those. And they're painted!
That's the idea.
Oh, they're all usable? Yeah, there's some good stuff there, Nils.
Yeah, for $30. Yeah. It's a good price. Hey,
or $40.
I do. We're just finishing here, so hang out with me for a few minutes. All right, guys. Well, that was a lot of fun tonight. Thank you for making my week better.
Yeah, well, thank you guys for helping me enjoy one of my last weeks of freedom. Still, you know what? Even though I have the summer off, this is still the highlight of my week, is hanging out with you guys. Thursday nights, rolling dice.
Game. Nothing wrong with
Break
that.
from work.
We've got to figure out how to get Solon's a laptop that'll run Roll20, so we can get him playing it.
Yeah, somebody send him. Make him. I think he's on the distribution list for OTNG. I'm not sure if he's actually listened to any of or audited any of the episodes, but
well, he can use his tablet. He just has to buy a $50 annual fee pass. And I think
$4. I think it's $4 a month.
Right, or $50 a year.
You can buy it annually or monthly.
Right.
You don't have to pay for the year.
Right, that's true.
We're just finishing. All right, guys. I'll catch up with you later. Bye.
All right.
Bye.
Good night, guys. Talk to you soon.